welcome back to my channel. Today I am showing you how to do this makeup look that is no foundation, super easy. I didn't even actually fill in my brows. I just used a special product that I just picked up. This is super easy to achieve, so for those of you that are new to makeup, this is a great look, or for those of you who do makeup all the time but just want a quick look for maybe the weekend or just something simple, this is the tutorial for you. As you're watching, if you like what you see, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. That would mean the world to me. And also give this video a thumbs up, and let's just get started. The first thing I'm going to do is prime the face. I'm just going to use the BareMinerals Prime Time Foundation Primer. I'm actually not going to use foundation today. I'm going to do that little concealer trick that I did in my Victoria's Secret tutorial where I just use concealer, and honestly, like, I don't have bad skin, but I don't have the best skin, and so to be able to not use foundation and make it look like you kind of are using foundation, I really like that trick. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, but I'm just using this primer kind of in the areas where I'll be putting the concealer, just so that it applies really smoothly and evenly. And of course, for concealer, we're using the Tarte Shape Tape. You have to have a really good concealer if you're going to do this, and the Tarte Shape Tape is awesome. I use the shade Light Sand, and so I'm just going to apply this pretty liberally underneath the eyes and onto the cheeks where I have redness, and then kind of cover up any imperfections we might have, and then also take it down the nose and onto the forehead. So basically the only parts that won't be covered are like this bottom cheek area, the forehead where I really don't have any problem areas, and so it'll create a really nice flawless base without using foundation. I'm using a foundation brush to blend out the concealer. This is the Expert Face Brush from Real Techniques. I really like it, and I kind of just like pat here and pounce, and that ensures that the product really stays put, the majority of it stays put in the areas that we've placed it. It doesn't like spread it around too much, and I kind of just feather it out into the other areas. I also wait to blend out the areas that I want the most coverage to let the concealer dry down a little bit. So you see I did the forehead and chin first because I'm not as concerned about coverage in those areas. They're not my problem areas. I do take a little bit around the nose. I didn't actually straight on apply it there because it can get kind of cakey in those areas, but I am going to take whatever is left on my brush in those areas. And then I like to kind of do this on the edges of the eye so that it's not like a harsh stopping line. I have identical pimples on my chin, one here, one here. They're almost gone, but it's so annoying. I also take whatever is left from the under eyes onto my actual lid. This will prime for eyeshadow and also just get rid of any of that redness. You see this eye is completely blank now, and this eye still has a lot of kind of redness, discoloration. This really fixes that, and I think is very important when you're doing a simple look because it'll really make your eyes open up more and be more bright. And then especially on the nose, I just kind of tap. And that's it. Now, I personally feel like I look like I have foundation on, but I don't, and it makes my skin feel so much better. I've really been liking this trick lately. Next, I'm going to just apply some of this Palladio I'm Glowing Creamy Stick Luminizer. I like to kind of put this kind of even onto the cheeks a little bit. It gives a nice glow, and then up onto the cheekbones. Next, I am going to do, I think this is the only powder step besides the powder highlighter I'm going to do. I am going to contour a little bit with the Kat Von D Shade and Light Contour Kit. And the nice thing about this too, I think I've talked about this before, these powders are very pigmented and they're almost like foundation powders. You guys have seen me use foundation powders like the Marc Jacobs one as a contour, and that gives you a little bit of coverage in this area where we didn't put any concealer or foundation. This will basically do the same thing, so adding a little bit of color here will basically cover up any imperfections. You probably can't even see it on camera. I don't know if you can, but I do have just tiny little like red splotches. I don't know if it's just discoloration, but this will kind of take care of that. In this palette, I just mix these two shades. They're called Subconscious and Shadow Play. It's a little trick. If you feel like you put it on your face and there's way too much pigment, I just take some of that off on my hand and then go back in. I just take a little bit of this on the nose. It kind of just ties in the color of the rest of the face now that we've contoured, and it does slim the tip. I just want to soften that up a little bit, so I just take a big powder brush that I have and kind of blend that out. Next, I'm going to do blush, and I have another cream product. I think I've used this in a video before. Maybe I haven't. This is the Glossier Cloud Paint cheek color. I really like this color. This is the shade Beam. It's like a peachy kind of shade, and we're going to be doing a kind of peachy eye look. So I thought that it would match nicely. I kind of just take some on these two fingers and then pat on. It looks really pigmented, but we'll really blend it out, and I may even go over this with the brush I used for concealer just to make sure it's not too intense, like this. And it just gives, it looks like a flush of color from within. It just looks so, so natural. I love it. And this works especially well if you're not using foundation, because typically when you use foundation, you want to set it with a powder, and you actually, I have done it before, putting this liquid blush over powder. You're typically not supposed to put creams or liquids over powder, so that's why I'm saying it's actually better to use it on a day like today where you're using very minimal makeup. You can use it over powder, but I prefer to use it in this way. Okay, next let's do the brows, and this is actually another Glossier product. This is their Boy Brow, but I got it in the brown shade. First, what I do is just very lightly put this through the brows, like sideways, like this, like the normal way you would think to put a spoolie through. But then I turn the spoolie this way and get it right in the hairs and almost kind of like draw with the tip of the spoolie. I definitely like to add some towards the front. That's where I'm lacking a lot. And then also like up here at the arch, this is where I lack a lot of structure. So I just use that side. And then again, I turn it and kind of brush that out. This is a great idea for those of you that are beginners in makeup, because I know brows can be very tricky to get down. Like, they can look a little wonky when you're first starting out because they are pretty tricky to kind of figure out for yourself. Everyone likes their brows a different way. I know I look back at pictures and sometimes I'm like, ew, those brows were like, they just, I don't know, I just didn't like how I did them. If once you're done filling in with this, you feel like they're not defined enough, you can go back in with your concealer and kind of shape them out. And that's what I'm going to do here, because I want a little bit more shape. This really doesn't take long at all. You just take the concealer kind of on the back of your hand with a flat brush, and you can just go underneath. And it really, in my opinion, makes a difference. It makes the brows look a little bit more put together. It also will create a nice base for a brow bone highlight, which is a nice little added perk to doing this step. Okay, next step is eyeshadow, and I'm going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Prism palette today. I have not used this in a while and thought it might be fun to try, and I'm going to stick to about 2 or 3 colors. I really want to do just a wash of coral over my eyes, so I'm going to use the shades Eden and Saturn predominantly. I think I may also use Unity just in the crease to start so that I have a little bit of a base powder to go off of so that those coral shades blend better. So I'm gonna take Unity kind of here all over. And that actually does, I kind of forget, a lot of the shades in this palette come off darker on the eyes than they actually look in the pan. So that actually does deposit a nice transition color. I wasn't sure it was even going to show up, but it did. Okay, next I'm going to take the lighter of the two, so Eden, and put that down first with the same brush. And then I'll go in with more of a definer crease brush for the darker shade, just so it's not as intense. I don't know, I think it was, I'm not sure. I saw somebody do a look like this, where it was just really simple coral kind of wash of color over the whole lid and crease. I really liked how it looked, and it's so easy, especially with a palette from ABH. The Subculture palette has a similar shade, and it's really, really nice for the same look because the matte shades in these palettes are so pigmented that it's really easy to just slap on. Okay, next I'm taking the shade Saturn, which is definitely more orangey coral, and I'm just gonna put this right in the crease, staying a little bit lower. Okay, I'm gonna go back in with the bigger brush and just go right in here and blend that out. And then I'm going to just take my finger into Eden, the lighter one, and just put that all over the lid. And I'll blend that with the same brush I've been using in the crease. I think I'm going to take a little of Saturn on the lid too. This is the darker one. I want it to be a little bit more intense. This eyeshadow technique is literally foolproof because it's all the same color family, so you don't have to worry about shades like kind of clashing. This is all the same kind of color family. Just cleaning up the edges with the brush I used for concealer. And that is all for this palette. I am going to use my highlighter in the inner corner and brow bone. I just want to spritz my face with the NYX Dewy Finish Setting Spray. This will help everything stay a little bit longer, but also will give us a nice kind of wet base for our highlight, which will intensify it even more. And for highlight, I'm using the Laura Geller Baked Gelato Swirl Illuminator in the shade Gilded Honey. I love this stuff. It's so gorgeous. I'm going to use, let's see, I'll use this kind of big highlighter brush so that it's not too intense because this whole look isn't very intense. I feel like if we had intense highlighter, it'd look kind of weird. So this brush from Delium, this is their tapered highlighting brush, will give us just a nice dusting of highlight. I am going to take a little on my finger and go on the tip of the nose, the Cupid's bow. I think I'll take just a little here right on the tip of the cheekbone to intensify that. Actually, this highlight's a little dark for me, so you can kind of see it straight on. I don't know if you can see it. This works a little better when I have a tan, but that's okay. We'll make it work. I'm going to use this brush here and put this in the inner corner. I find that this gold looks really pretty with the corals. That's why I picked it. Next step is mascara, and I am going to throw on lashes just because I find that when you put lashes on, it really just makes your makeup look like you really, really tried, even though this was super easy. So I'm going to put on the House of Lashes Iconic Light Lashes that I think I wore last week in one of the videos. But I really, really like these. I'm going to apply these off camera, put on some mascara, and then we'll finish off with lips. Okay, lashes are on. So the last step of this look is lips. And I'm going to go with one of my favorites. I'm going to use the NYX lip liner in Nude Beige and then put the Stila Stay All Day liquid lipstick in Angelo on. So this is the finished makeup look. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching. If you did, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. That really helps me. And if you aren't already, please subscribe to my channel so you can stay up to date on all my upcoming videos. Other than that, guys, I will see you in my next one. Bye!